Hey everyone. Yeah, it's about 7:15 at night on this Wednesday. It's the first Wednesday that my mom's going to be doing some Bible study, going to Bible study basically. So I'm pretty much going to have some Wednesdays to myself. Not saying I'm always going to have every Wednesday to myself because I might be working, but this is one of those rare times that I will. And so anyway, I want to use this time to kind of talk about something. Over the past few days, and I think it's still going on a little bit. A lot of fans obviously are not too happy with the results of the Rumble. You have the situation in the parking lot after the Rumble took place, after the Rumble event was over. You have the fans hooning and everything, and I've talked about this several times. I said in one of my videos, WWE needs to book the venues correctly when it comes to events like this, because if they're going to put somebody over that they know, let's say a crowd in Philly is going to crap over, then you're better off going someplace else. Just, just saying. And that's just my opinion on it. I also believe that you don't have to blame Roman Reigns. You got to blame WWE booking and creative. So there's that situation. But then there's also a situation that when you take a look at the WWE, a lot of people say they're out of touch. Vince McMahon's out of touch. Kevin Dunn has no clue what he's doing. He's out of touch. This person, that person. And I don't think it's just out of touch with what the fans feel is the right thing to do, is the best thing to do for business. No. What they're out of touch with is the fact that we are now in a generation, an era, if you will, a generation in an era that has been greatly influenced by several factors. One of the main factors being mixed martial arts. Anytime somebody sees fans see somebody like, say, a Daniel Bryan, a Flynn Blore, a Haidu, a Flynn Blore, a Hideo Itami, you name it. Anytime they see these kind of guys and they see them using these martial arts kicks, they cheer them because part of that is influenced by MMA in their opinion, in their minds. And in my opinion, that's what they see. They see, ooh, MMA influence. Because MMA has had such a big influence on everybody because it's more real, more gritty, more violent kind of deal. They want to see something similar in WWE. But it's not just MMA that's having a huge influence either. This generation and era is also greatly influenced by what we see on the indie circuit. You see, with independent wrestling, I've noticed, because I've gone to several myself, the wrestlers, men and women, they're able to do things they can't do in WWE. They're able to perform moves and have the kind of matches that WWE, fans want to see WWE do. They want to see WWE give out these kind of matches all the time, not just on occasions. Not like with this Sunday with the triple threat match, which I will agree was a great match. Probably one of the best they've done in a while. Not just that, but, do it on occasions to where it's like, this is something they want to see all the time. And that is why this generation is greatly influenced by indie wrestling. They see what they see what the men and women do on the indie circuit, see that they can be sort of themselves, have the matches that they feel the fans are going to enjoy, and they do, as well as perform moves and stuff that now, if they go to WWE, they can't really do. They go to WWE, they can't do those moves fans love to see them do. They can't have the matches fans feel they can have or know they can have. They can't be the way they want to be. And that is why I think if you were to say the WWE is out of touch of anything, it's out of it's not out of touch of, oh, they know what's better and we don't. No. The WWE has no idea basically that we are now in a generation greatly influenced by indie wrestling and mixed martial arts. This is basically what I look at as the pure pro wrestling era. That's what it is. You can call it the flips and kicks era. You can call it the ROH Chikara era. Whatever. You can call it the New Japan era. You can call it the Triple H era. Well, Triple A era, I should say, not Triple H. I'm sorry. It will be the Triple H era someday, and maybe we'll get those kind of matches we want if he's in charge. Just my opinion. But you could call it anything you want. Like I said, you call it the flips and kicks era, the ROH era, the Chikara era, the Dragon Gate era. You can call it the FWE era. You can call it the New Japan era. You can call it the AAA era. Whatever. The Lucha Underground era, whatever you want to call it. Call it anything you want. But basically, it's an era where independent wrestling is greatly influenced. There's been a huge influence on it. And because of that huge influence, and from what the fans see on these indie circuits, in New Japan, in ROH, in AAA, in Chikara, in Dragon Gate, in Evolve, in Mexico, in AAA, and CMLL, Lucha Underground. They see these kind of matches. They see these kind of men and women performing, performing the way they do, and they want to see the WWE do that. They want to see the WWE wake up and go, "Oh, this is what fans want. Okay, here you go." That's what they want, and yet the WWE doesn't realize that this is the generation they now have to deal with. You see, I think, in my opinion, Vince McMahon is trying to relive an era that's come and gone. Vince McMahon, in my opinion, is trying to relive an era known as the Federation era. That's what he's trying to relive. Because think about it. Vince McMahon has his golden boy again in John Cena, right? Well, just like Vince McMahon had Hulk Hogan pass the torch to Warrior, and then again to Rock, you in a sense are now having John Cena stepping aside, and by stepping aside, allowing someone that people say has a strong comparison to him and being built up that similar way, and Roman Reigns becoming the next golden boy. Why? Because in my opinion, maybe you'll agree with me or not, Vince McMahon is trying to relive or trying to recreate another Federation era, where you knew who the bad guys were, you knew who the good guys were. But guess what? There's one thing Vince McMahon's not realizing, if that's the case, that this is a generation that's greatly influenced by Indy and MMA. You could try to trot out and try to recreate and remake another Federation era, but people ain't gonna buy it. They're not gonna get behind it. Why? Because it's come and gone. And it's been come and gone for over 20 years, 30 years almost. Actually, a little over 20 years actually. It's come and gone. Now we're in a generation, in an era that, like I said, and I know I sound like a broken record here, folks, and I apologize, but the point I'm getting is I think that WWE has to realize we are now in a generation and era that's greatly influenced by indie wrestling, New Japan wrestling, AAA wrestling, basically any kind of wrestling that's that's true to the pure pro sport of wrestling. That's what it is. And not just that, we're in an era that's greatly influenced by MMA. And when you have those two influences, together at the same time, and fans gravitating towards them but still kind of loyal to something like the WWE, of course fans are going to expect to see that in the WWE. They're going to expect someone like a Daniel Bryan to be the top guy all the time because he represents that pure pro wrestling style that you see in the Indies and in Japan and in Mexico, as well as he somewhat with his martial arts kicks and stuff represents what you see in MMA. That's why they want someone like Daniel Bryan. That's why they want someone like a Dolph Ziggler. That's why they wanted Dean Ambrose. Because they represent all of what I said. All that's been influenced in this generation. Now you might say I'm not making any sense. Well, guess what? I'm trying my best here, folks, but the point is, the WWE has to wake up and realize this is a generation greatly influenced by indie wrestling, by the indie, not only independent wrestling here in North America, but around the world. It's a generation greatly influenced by what they see, by what they see in Japan and how respectful the fans and how true and pure they are to the sport of pro wrestling Japan is. Same with Mexico. They see what UFC and Bellator and whoever else has done with MMA, and they see that great influence influxing itself into wrestling. And they want to see that in the WWE. They pretty much, in my opinion, believe that the WWE was to incorporate everything that's current and being influenced right now, that they could be better than what they are. I mean, the triple threat match proved there is a place for this kind of stuff. And you know what? I can almost guarantee that there are people in the back of WWE, the men and women that perform in that ring, that know this is a fact, they know it's true, and they believe that maybe WWE needs to wake up and bring some of that in, bring that influence in and get with the times. But that, to me, is why WWE is in the situation right now. The people in charge, mostly Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, and whoever else is part of the Yes unit, or the go-toers, don't understand that we are in a generation that's been influenced by the wrestling they see on the independent circuit in Japan, in Mexico, and all over the world, as well as what they see in the MMA world, thanks to UFC, Bellator, and whoever else. So, that's all I'm going to say on it, folks. You let me know if you agree or not on that. Comment below. I'll talk to you all later.